Akagi Hina, An Eclipsing Bond. Part 2. The year 2003, June 12th. The cloudy sky over a city opened like a gate of light. Through it fell a pale giant and a winged dragon. An unknown particle spread a white disease throughout the world, changing humans into skeletal beasts. But humanity also gained a power to resist the effects of the calamity, a power that surpassed reason: magic. Electric light shone pale green in the darkness of a crude shrine made of concrete and steel pipes. The leader of an elite soldier unit and her silver-haired subordinate proceeded down a hallway, led by a researcher speaking about the history of humanity. The pair were visiting the National Weapons Research Facility. The facility was building weapons with the new knowledge of magic to meet the threat of the bone-white beasts, Region. The girls were here on duty to receive the weapons meant to end the fight with the beasts. We take this particle we call Maso and transfer its energy. The guiding researcher spoke passionately about their work, seemingly without regard for if their guests understood or not. The girls listened and thought about how the weapons would help the cause. About 2 years earlier, the leader's younger brother was killed. In the area where her brother was stationed, a leader of the Region, a Red Eyes, attacked him. Exactly like the name suggests, these leaders' eyes glow red, and they have the power to control other Region. The Region had overrun the area to which her brother was sent. There were no survivors in the attack, and the remains left were beyond recognition. In addition, the surveillance footage was damaged, and the true form of these beasts remained unknown. The girls' organization committed a great amount to engage the threat of the Red Eyes. Their failure to subjugate the Region so far could perhaps be overcome with this new power. Walking through the research facility, the girls saw glimpses of what kinds of research were being conducted. In one area, a great water tank held a dying Region, where researchers observed the beast's regenerative capabilities. In another area, they saw humanoid-formed Region kept in steel cages where their mutation was observed. Cruel scene after cruel scene played out before them. The Region we have been fighting, they were once... The silver-haired girl was about to put to words what all their members thought. "Don't think about it," said her leader in a soothing voice. The two continued to follow the researcher to the back of the facility into a command center-like room. Across the walls were screens with countless numbers and graphs, and numerous researchers were recording it all. In the wall across from them was a glass window that looked into an enormous room. The room was in a ring shape, and instead of a floor, there were a number of bars holding in a weakened Region. Before the two girls could ask their multitude of questions, the researcher told them, "Watch, you'll understand." Maso levels at 87%. Extinguishment in T-30 seconds. Tremendous noise filled the chamber as the girls watched through the glass. Soon the countdown reached 0, and in the center of the ring, a tiny black spherical object appeared. Whether it was some kind of abyss that sucked in light, or a sun whose light was eclipsed by a moon, they could not say. It was the deepest black. It began as the size of a marble, but grew and grew until it engulfed the top half of the beast. And then, pale light flickered and the sphere disappeared. The girls raised their arms to shield themselves from the light, and then cautiously lowered them to see what was happening. Extinguishment experiment. Success. Cries of joy rippled through the researchers in the room. Looking back into the room, the leader saw that the engulfed half of the beast was also gone. The researchers did not think to explain what happened to the stunned girls. They immediately began their discussions with each other. Some spoke of the challenges to the laws of physics. Some excitedly claimed this was proof of alternate dimensions. The girls felt unmoored from the world and could only gaze at the dead beast. The weapons the girls received from the guide researcher were handheld, octagonal explosives. Just like the experiment they had witnessed, they would summon an extinguishment field developed for use against the Red Eyes. Although they were small devices packed into a box they could hold in one hand, they would envelop an area 4 kilometers in radius. They contained the technology of another world. With this, we can fight the Red Eyes. The leader and the silver-haired girl nodded in agreement and were about to contact their home base when the monitors in the control room all turned red. A burst of intense noise like a malfunctioning machine assailed their ears. Humans that seek to defy the gods. I am the master of Daegyeon. Human, animal, insect, and Daegyeon. All voices were blended into one broken sound, and yet, somehow, its meaning was understood. This must be the language of the white beasts. Through the pain, the leader forced herself to stare at the screen. Deep in the flickering red, a human form was visible. That form reminded her of the vision she had about the ruined city. My desire is peace with humans. Send this message to the best. The noise and red screens continued for some minutes and suddenly disappeared. Everyone collapsed to the ground. In a haze, the leader tried to remember what information she gained. A direct communication from a being calling itself the Master of Daegyeon. Its goal is peace negotiations, the time and place of the negotiations, and at the end of the transmission she heard her own name. Her, humanity's greatest warrior who had slain so many of Daegyeon, demanded to be a messenger of peace and to speak with the Daegyeon. A researcher retched, and the girl felt similarly, but a look of determination flashed in her eyes. She had finally found it, a chance for revenge for her brother.